Somebody asked me why I feel so strongly about being aware of when someone is just not genuine, when someone is intentionally trying to mislead you. Like, I know for some people it's like, okay, it's going to happen from time to time. It's no big deal. And it's like, actually, there are some much bigger ramifications than we think. You know, discernment is a spiritual and psychological skill that we have to develop. We know that just because something feels good doesn't mean it's true, even though I will say in the spiritual space, that can be manipulated. And people can say, if it doesn't feel good, if you don't feel good in your heart or your gut about it, then it must be wrong. And again, that is not accurate to discernment. But for the most part, many of us who've made it this far in our journey kind of know. And we also know that manipulation thrives in the language of love and light. We can see in the people that we've watched over the years, in guides that we've connected with online or wherever we connect, we're thinking, something's weird about you. And I'm a weird person, so to say that something's not quite right. We have to cross-check spiritual insights with psychological or cultural knowledge. Sometimes we have to make sure that, especially when things are so esoteric, so woo, that we almost don't want to question it or test it at all, because it's like, well, I mean, who can argue with that? I don't quite understand all of it. I'm still working through it. They're the awakened, ascensioned, or ascended master or whatever, so I guess I'm just going to go with it. But the moment we test some of the things that are stated that are a bit off the wall against psychology, against what we know within our culture or whatever background we might have, the cracks start to form. And then we're able to look at it spiritually and go, oh, okay, I see what you were doing there. But I think what's really dangerous is that ego loves the idea of superiority. And it can hijack our learning. It's why I'm also a major proponent of figuring out the point of spiritual gifts. So if you think that you are a prophet, then what does a prophet do? Okay? Because if all you're thinking is that you can just go around putting prophecies on people, but you don't actually know all the things that are required of you and how and why and what is guiding what you say, you're probably not a prophet. You just like to run your mouth, right? If you say, well, I'm a starseed or I'm a galactic warrior, well, why? And most of the people that say that stuff to me and are just listing off labels, they're label collectors. When you ask them, what are you doing with this stuff in the world to make the world light? They cannot answer. It's usually in their sleep. Oh, I do it while I'm sleeping. Well, what are you doing in the light? Oh, nothing. That's not the purpose of spiritual gifts. That doesn't even make any sense. The ego loves this feeling of, look at me, look at all the things that I am. I am a starseed. And it's like, okay, now what? Ego doesn't like that question. What do you mean, now what? There is no now what. This is it. I've reached the pinnacle. Really? You're 28 years old, or you're 42, or you're 65. That's it? You're just a starseed now, and that's it? That's how you live? So we got to see that if our ego can get like that about our gifting and who we are, then our ego can also shift information, can also shift things within us to make us believe things that are false. So here's the real truth. There is a glitch in humanity wherein we believe lies even more when someone tries to convince us after we've already kind of fully embraced something. So the people who are in power over information know that whoever gets the information to you first has the power. That's where we live in the age of spin, right? So if I can tell you that something happened at an event, XYZ happened, if someone comes in and tries to say ABC happened, you're immediately going to have a wall up. Like, nope, hold on now. That's not what I heard. And there is that feeling of superiority that says, I know the truth, you're lying. Look at you, you pitiful liar. We don't know we're doing it sometimes. Some people ride it real hard. And a lot of us in this spiritual space believe that we are immune to that kind of behavior, but we're not. Cognitive dissonance affects everyone. Everyone has a tendency to defend what we're already invested in. Spiritual ego? It can prevent us from admitting we're wrong. Because we'll say, but I'm awakened. I don't know what you're talking about. I know everything. So surely the purpose of being a starseed is what I think it is and not what you're saying. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing and ignore what you have to say and what you and you and you and you have to say because I already think I know. You can see where that can be very limiting. We will accuse people in religious spaces of doing the same thing, closing themselves off to every other bit of knowledge. There are people in the spiritual space who never want to hear anything about Jesus at all, not realizing that they sound like Christians when they do that. Just in the opposite, you know? Truth is everywhere, and so are lies. Discernment, that skill, that spiritual and psychological skill, it is necessary. Because releasing a false belief is a painful thing, but we have to do it if we want to evolve. Spiritual discernment allows us to be able to release those beliefs because in our gut, in our spirit, in our emotional body, and all these places that can tap into divine, we realize something about what I know or think I know is not right, and there is more to this. In the world, they're taught that deconstructing beliefs is betrayal. In our divine awakening, we understand that it's not, it's clarity. And growth means that we often have to grieve who we thought we were. That's hard enough to do just as human beings. But awakened, divine beings? Ugh. This is why you have to protect your mind. This is why. Because once something becomes a belief in you on a human level, you're already stuck. And on a spiritual level, it will guide your path so far in the wrong direction, and you will have no idea you're off course. And when someone tries to correct your course, even if it's divine, you'll go, how dare you? I know exactly what I'm up to. I know what I'm about. And sometimes, by the time we realize that this is what's been happening, it's just too late. So please, keep your mind from false teachings, from false light. Protect yourself from that glitch where it's really, really hard to go away from your first mind about something. Protect yourself so that the first information you're getting is the truth. And if it can't be, protect yourself by opening yourself up to as much information as possible about a given topic or subject or circumstance or whatever. Allowing yourself to observe what you can see rather than leaning in and becoming a part of it. Give yourself the time to discern before you fully embrace and cement in your mind what you think to be true, before you invest deeply in something. Because divine has a very hard time. It's not difficult for divine, it's difficult with us. We will kick and scream, especially if it's not a person saying it, but divine trying to show us in whispers. Our mind will immediately just sweep that right out of our line of vision and keep us right on the tunnel vision in the wrong direction. I pray that you hear where I'm coming from and you consider these things from a spiritual, a psychological, an emotional level. that these things are real and why it is so necessary. I love you. Good luck.